Well, welcome everybody. I hope you've had a great day. We have 45 minutes right now, and 45 minutes is just enough to be dangerous, but not enough to go super deep into Google Classroom. So we're going to go as quick as we can, but know that there's your link to the resources for today. I will. I didn't want to do that. I will drop the chat real quick here. So you have them. I guess I'm going to be going pretty fast. So everything I give you, everything in this link right here will be, oh my gosh, this is Friedlander. How are you? Oh, one of my friends from many a year ago. So good to see you. So good to see you. I forget what I was saying now. Dorothy threw me off all together here. There's a link. If I don't get to it, if I go too fast, everything you're going to need is right there in that link. I'm not going to be going through the slides pretty much. I'm going to be doing like a lot of live learning here. But head on back there. There's videos on there, everything that you're going to need to get going on Google Classroom. All right. So we will monitor the chat. I have a second screen going here, so I look like I'm looking off to the distance. I'm not. I have another screen over there, so I can kind of see the chat as we go as well. If you got questions, we're a pretty small group. You can just go ahead and unmute and ask away, and we'll get going there. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to head over to Google Classroom. Hello. Child running around here. So we're going to head over to classroom.google.com. That's the easiest way to get there is classroom.google.com. If you have Chrome open, the best way to get there is right here in these 9 dots, the waffle as they call it. You can just click right on that classroom right there, and it's going to take you to classroom.google.com. I'm going to talk a little bit about the dashboard settings first so you know exactly what they are, and then I'll talk a little bit about what each of our tabs do, and then we'll get a chance to play around it a little bit, and you'll be able to make your own class. You'll be able to join my class. So just for a few moments, just kind of watch for the first few minutes, and then we'll get going from there. So there's a few things to know within Google Classroom. The first thing is the settings. There's a couple of places for settings. The first one I want to show you is in the upper left-hand corner. We got the 3 hot dogs there. We'll call it the hot dogs. They look like, like a hot dog. I don't know, maybe it's a hamburger, whatever you want to call it. Click on that, and here are your dashboard settings within Classroom. All right, so the top one is classes. That's going to be like your dashboard where everything sits. All the classes you've created, all the classes you're a part of, everything will sit right there. All right, next is a calendar. This syncs directly to your Google Calendar as well as your students' Google Calendar. So if you are giving assignments within Classroom, it's going to automatically add a due date to your students' Google Calendar so they'll be able to track that. I don't know if you guys are allowed to use Classroom in your district. In my district, it's not suggested we use Classroom, but I use it anyway because I feel it's the best platform for getting kids the stuff they need, sharing out docs, all sorts of amazing stuff. So, it's all right to try and break away a little bit and try that out. Next down is the archived classes. This is anything that you have deleted. If you'll notice a difference between my original classes and my archived. So here's one I made, Becoming 2020. That was a session I'd done before. Notice it's a dark blue, solid blue back there, background. When I come into my archived classes, there are white lines going through it. All right, that means that this class has been archived. In case you accidentally get here, you're like, why does this look like this? That's the difference there. Within here, you can copy the class, restore it, or delete it. Google does not, prevent you from having 1,000 classes, right? You can keep those classes. So there's no reason really to delete it unless you really, you're like me, you like to have things a little bit less cluttery. Maybe not in life, but here in Google Classroom, I like my classroom to be organized. So I like to get rid of the ones I'm not doing anymore. Last but not least is settings down at the bottom. And this is where you're gonna kind of want to play around a little bit once you get your class all set up. The main one you need to know is this one right here. If you are like me and don't like getting emails every 3 seconds, you're going to want to turn this off. All right, turn that off and you're not going to get email from Google Classroom at all. Now, if you want to be notified about some things, like if a student comments on your post or if a student mentions you or private work, then you leave that on and then you come down here to the bottom and you mess with these settings a little bit. So if you see the ones I have right here, these two are turned on. Those are two I really have turned on the most because I want to know if a student gives me a private comment within an assignment I give, like I still don't know how to do this, or where do I turn this in? You just click the turn in button, right? So those are kind of the two I like to have on. The bottom ones, the rest of them, for me, those really aren't that important to me, so I leave those off. Again, it's up to you. And you can enable your notifications for specific classes as well. So it's whatever your personal preference is. It is what it is, right? It's what you want it to be, right? That's a great thing. Many choices. One more thing along the left here, to review. I'm going to show you this real quick. To review is anything that you have assigned that you need to take a look at, that maybe you haven't graded yet, or you haven't returned back to the students. If it's not returned back to the students, it's going to show up here in the to review. We probably won't be talking about that too much, but I just wanted to show it to you. All right, in order to make your first Google Classroom, all right, Google is pretty intuitive with the way they want you to create things. It's just that big plus, right? Anytime you see a plus in Google, it means, hey, you can make something here, whether it's a doc or a new classroom or anything in a website. Anytime you hit that plus, it's going to allow you to create something within Google Classroom. So the way it looks, when I come over here, I can click plus. And there's two options. If you are a teacher, you will either see join class or create class. If you are in your district domain and you click on that and it only says join class, that is a slight issue. You will want to contact your IT department and ask them to add you to the teacher accounts, right? They can separate accounts by student, by teacher. So somehow you got toggled into the student account. Maybe the first time you signed up or you signed in, it said, are you a teacher? Are you a student? Even if you are joining a classroom, you want to say teacher, or you'll be toggled into that student account and you won't be able to make your own classes from there. So whenever I'm going to join a class or create a class, I'm going to come up here to this plus. If I'm going to create a class, I'm going to just click on this create, right? And it's going to say, right here, this is my personal account, so that's why it looks a little bit different. Let me go back here. No, I'm going to keep it here because I want you guys to join. If you're with your school domain, it's not going to ask you many of these questions. But since I'm on my personal account here, and only this past summer, Google started adding personal accounts, giving the ability to make Google Classrooms, which is super helpful if you have like a sports team that you're managing, or if you're in Scouts, you're running a merit badge program. Everything can be done through Classroom, right? But that, again, that was pretty recently new addition that Google made. So I'm going to click through here. I understand that I'm going to be sharing stuff. Google's going to be collecting stuff. I agree. I'm going to click continue. All right. The first one, class name, that is the only thing on here that is required. The rest of it, it's optional. So my class name is going to be, we'll call this Tech Fest 2021. Many a year ago, I used to be on the OCQ board and was in charge of Tech Fest for a few years, so it's great to be back. Section, you can put whatever you want there. We'll call this section 5, subject. We'll call this math, why not? And then room, we'll call this room 5 as well, just for fun. When I click create, it's going to take a few moments to create the class, just because it's gathering all the background information. While this is creating, I want to tell you about something they're able to do as well within Classroom. You're able actually to duplicate past classes. You're able to duplicate past classes. When you do that, it takes a long time for that class to be duplicated and able for you to use. So just kind of keep that in mind if you ever want to duplicate a class. All right. So across the top, you'll see a few things. These are the 4 sections within Google Classroom: Stream, Classwork, People, and Grades. It looks different for teachers than it does for students. And I'll show you the student side here in a moment. But I just kind of want to go through each of these. So Stream, think of this as like your Facebook feed or your social media feed, right? This is where all the new things that are shared are going to show up here within your Stream. All right, this is where if you need to make an announcement to your class, it'll show up here on Stream. If you post a new classwork assignment, it'll show up here on the Stream, unless you change that setting, and I'll talk about that in a moment. So think of Stream as like your hub for everything within Classroom. All the information is going there. On the left-hand side, right, this is kind of like your tracker for assignments as well. And you'll notice, let me show you this as well. So these are a few of the classes I run for my school or I'm a part of. You'll notice here it says due Friday math dividing fractions assessment. Anything that is coming up due will show up here on your dashboard. So you know that there's something you need to grade coming up. But back to my class here, I have Stream. That's where everything's gonna go. Classwork. Classwork is the thing I use the most. It's where you're gonna assign, collect, and you can grade assignments right here in this tab. Super easy to use. Again, that big plus is everything you're going to need. And I'll go over that in a moment. People, these are the people that are in the class. You can have up to, I believe, 20 co-teachers, if I'm not mistaken, and 1,000 students in a class. So if for some reason you need 1,000 students in a class, you can do it. If you need 20 co-teachers, you can do that as well. All right, so we have 20 co-teachers, 1,000 students can all be put into a class, set to go. If you want to add a teacher, you just click right here and just type in their name or email address and it'll pop up there. I'll talk about adding students in a moment. The last tab is the grades tab. And you know what, let me go to another class to show it to you real quick what the grades tab looks like. All right, there we go. So here's my assignment, the Sharks Hyperdoc, very exciting. It shows who has turned it in. So as I look through here, no one has turned this assignment in. Come on, guys, let's get our assignment in, right? So you can just do a quick look through right here. When they turned it in, it'll be green and it'll say turned in. If it's late, it'll be red and it'll say missing. If there's a gray, like if I give Amanda here 100, saving, green, 100, great job, Amanda. It says draft because that assignment has not been given back to her yet, right? And I'll talk about that a little bit more in a moment. But let's go back to our class here for TechFest 2021. 2 places where you can show your class code and then a place where you can actually share the class link. All right, so each class is unique in that it has its own join code. So there's one way to do it, is projecting this on a screen, or you can make it even larger right here, right? Kids just go in, they say join class, they type in this join code, boom, they're in your class, right? The other place you can get it is right here in the sprocket in the upper right-hand corner. Right here, class code, and it's display class code again, and it pops up there as well. Right, so this is like the archaic way to join a Google Classroom. Now, Google's made it a lot easier, especially if you have young learners. Makes it so much easier where now you have an invite link. So all I have to do is copy this, and I'm going to share it to you in the chat in a moment. I'm going to have you join my classroom. Before I do that, though, I want to show you 2 more things. The stream. Remember, we talked about that hub for where everything's gonna show up. I like to use gradual release of responsibility with my students. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lock that down where only I can post or comment, right? Because I don't want kids just coming in and, just blah, everything that they, oh, I got a new fish today. Oh, my fish died yesterday. And then next thing you know, all the stuff you want them to have is gone because, you know, it's because they've pushed it all down. Because the way Classroom works is the newest thing goes on top. Everything else gets pushed down. Think of it like a blog in that sort. As you go through the year, as you teach responsibility, I'm going to slowly open this up. But now students can comment on something. So if I've posted, like, here's our schedule for, you know, recording our news segment, you know, click on this link, you know, take you there. And now kids are like, oh, I don't see my name on there. So they can now put comments in there and other kids can respond. It's because you didn't sign up, right? Things like that. The last option, the least restrictive, is students can post and comment. So this is, you know, this is Internet 1.0 Wild Wild West right here, where you give them access and here they go, they're adding whatever they want to add, commenting on whatever they want to comment on. So just kind of keep that in mind, knowing your class, that you want to, you know, you kind of want to break them in a little bit. At least that's what I've always wanted to do. Now, the other thing that I think is very important, because I like to get my students in the mindset of going to the Classwork tab to get their classwork. All right, so right here, Classwork on the stream. I talked about that stream being the hub of everything within Google Classroom. That's kind of like your news feed. Everything's coming through there. If you post an assignment in Google Classroom, it's going to show up in that stream, unless you change this setting. And I like to change this setting because I don't want them using that stream as a crutch and not being able to get to where they need to get to, right? Because I'll show you my classroom here in a moment. So I come here and I hide notifications for classwork on the stream. Again, totally your choice. There's hide notifications, there's show condensed notifications, which gives a title only, and then there is show attachments and details, which gives everything within that assignment. All right, so again, your personal preference, what you want to do. I like to keep this hidden notifications so that only the classwork shows up on the classwork. All right, I want to stop any questions about settings or anything like that before I go on. I'm laughing, Emily, at you because your Bitmoji has your hand up. So like every time I look, I'm like, oh, does she have a question? No, it's just her Bitmoji. So I wanted to pause real quick, see if there's any questions you have about the settings before we move on to joining a class and seeing the difference between teacher and student. Is there a way to stop them from commenting in the assignment? So Patricia, once you give them the assignment, they can comment only within their stuff. All right, so you can block that down so it's only, they are only commenting to you within their assignment and not the particular the particular classroom assignment you give, and you would do that through that same students can post and comment. I just locked that all down right there. All right, let's move on. All right, let's join our classroom. As I said, I could just take this code right here and I can drop it in the chat. There you go. There's the link to the classroom. Go ahead and join it. And don't forget that if this is your first time getting in, it's asking you if you're a student or a teacher. You want to say that you are a teacher. All right, so if I'm a student, I'm going to click on here. I'm going to paste that link in. All right, do you want to join the classroom? Yes, let's join this class. Takes a moment again. All right. So as a student, this is what you'll see. So as I come back over, here's our, let's go back here, discard that real quick. Here's the people in our class. So we have Dorothy Friedlander is in, we have Hayden W is in. All right, so as people start joining your classroom, they'll show up here. All right, Dorothy, you're the winner. First one in. You get a imaginary gold star. You can do with it whatever you'd like. Trade it in for other things. Possibilities are endless. All right, so a student account looks a lot different. Okay, so if you get that error message, it's most likely because you are in your school domain. That's why you would be getting the error if you're within your work district domain. Because this is a personal account, I set it up as a personal account so anyone with their own Google account can get into it. Because if I were setting it up with only my school account, then you guys wouldn't be able to get into that one because that's only locked down to my my district domain. So yeah, so you'll need to open it up in your own personal Google account. Right? And if you don't want to, that's fine. I'll just kind of go through this real briefly so you can look at it, and then we'll set up our own classes within your domains. Dorothy, you might have, I don't know. Well, you're in, so that's a plus. That's a plus. All right. So students, you'll notice the difference. They have stream, they have classwork, and they have people. They do not have grades, right? And so I'll see here in classwork. There it is. There's people. I'll see my teacher, and I'll see my classmates. That's all I will see, right, as a student. So a lot of people want to know, what does it look like for a student? This is what it looks like for a student. Pretty basic. Everything they need in classwork will be right here. Everything within the stream will be right here. All right, so that's really the only difference between teacher to student, is that it doesn't have the grade section, and it only has those three tabs. All right, let's go back to our teacher page here. We have more participants. Look at all you now. Hooray. Welcome in, everybody. We have 8 students in this class. I want to talk a little bit about this people section because it's going to be important for you to kind of manage. All right, as I said, you can add teachers here. You can add up to 20 if you want. You can add up to 1,000 students, 1,000 participants. All right. So it's really, it's endless users for the most part. All right. As I'm here, there's a few options I have, right? You notice all these students are here. I can actually communicate with the students. I can click on the name here, and I can email a student directly. That's if you have email set up, like my district doesn't have email set up for students, just the account. So if your district has email set up, or if you work with high schoolers, you can email a student directly from here. All right, there's also some things you can do to students, like my friend Dorothy here. I can click on that box, and I'm going to come up here to actions. All right, there's a few things I can do. I can email Dorothy from here as well. I can remove her, or I can now mute Dorothy. All right, if she's muted, it's all right. She can still turn her work in, but she can't reply to classmates' work or comment on posts. All right, so you'll notice here that there's a red microphone with a line through it. That means, Dorothy, you've been muted for this class. So if she went to comment in our stream, she wouldn't be able to. When I come back over to the student view, though, Dorothy does not have a red speaker next to her because other kids don't need to know that she's been muted, right? Just me, the teacher, needs to know. Dorothy was a little bit out of control. She forgot what she's supposed to, responsible use looks like. We've locked her out, right? We've muted her, right? We didn't delete her, just muted her for now. Keep in mind though, she cannot comment until you unmute her. So if it's October and you mute Dorothy because she's not having responsible, use, and all of a sudden in March you're like, man, Dorothy has done no commenting on any assignments. It's because you muted her and you forgot to unmute her. All right, so just, if you mute someone, once they come out of mute jail, make sure that you unmute them so they're able to add back to the classroom. All right. Going back to I think that's pretty much everything in people that I want to talk about. You can actually add students directly if you know their their name. You can just type it in right here, and as soon as they get back in the classroom next time, they can just join. Like I had a new student that joined my class on Monday, just typed in his name, and he was able to go to Classroom and click on join. So that's another way to do it there. Back to our stream really quick. I want to show you a few things. This image across the top, it's the cover page for your classroom. Whatever you type into your class subject name, it's gonna try and say, okay, so I said Tech Fest, so it gave me some technology pieces here. You know, it gave me the tablet and the computer and the phone, right? So if you typed in math, it's gonna give you some math things in the background, or science is gonna give you like a beaker and some other science things. If you don't like that theme, you can change it. You can change it by clicking select theme. You can pick any of these that you'd like, right? Any of the ones that you want, right? Let's go with this one. And notice when I change the theme there, it's going to change all the colors associated with everything in Classroom as well. Google likes to take their theme and make it work throughout the whole entire app. All right, so that's what's going to go there. If you are someone that has designed your own Classroom banner, this is your moment. You can just click upload photo right here. You can drag and drop it from your computer, and boom, it's going to be in there. I believe it is, what is the dimensions? 200 by 600 maybe? Whatever it is, I have a sample in the slides if you want to add. A lot of people have gone in, added their own personalized banner with their Bitmoji. It was a big thing over the summer. So there you go. Like for mine, this is what mine looks like, right? Because I design a logo for our school for the year. So that's kind of what it looks like in mine. All right, folks. Here's what I want to do. You know what? Let's do this. I want to post an announcement in our classroom, so you will see this show up in your stream. All right, and I'm going to say, what is your favorite TV show? All right, and I'm going to post that in our stream. Post that. So if you would just respond to that for me real quick, that would be awesome. Just take a moment, respond. What is your favorite TV show? So this is again within my stream. Just made a quick announcement, right? And unless did I change that setting so you guys can't do anything? No, we're good. So, what is your favorite TV show? Maybe you're sad that The Office has moved from Netflix to mine always turn gray. Doreen, if it always turns gray, I would pick a bright color and see if that fixes it. That should fix it. Let me see. Like that should do it. All right, let's see. Do we have any responses to our question? What is your favorite TV show? Big Bang Theory. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to go in. I'm going to respond to this question as well. I'm going to come into the stream. What's my favorite TV show? Well, please. All right. What is your favorite TV show? Let's say my favorite TV show is Friends. And then let's get silly. And let's add a symbol. My friend, the lion. Perfect. All right. You might notice at the top here it says stream was updated. That means that somewhere someone has added to the stream. If you click show, it's going to show up there. Oh, you guys are all expert users. All right. Dorothy, I just finished Schitt's Creek, and the ending was all right. I thought they could have done a lot more, but whatever. Great show. If you'll notice, Hayden W., the account I went to, I responded with friends. You guys didn't fall for my trick. You guys did it. There are two places to add within Classroom. So you want to make sure the students are responding to your post. right? Because if everyone just typed in their answer right here, it's going to announce something to the whole entire class. This is how your stuff as the teacher gets lost, because students just start typing their responses in there because they're accidentally in the wrong spot. You know what happens? Sometimes I see something, oh, that must be where I'm supposed to type. And I just start typing there when it's not where I'm supposed to type, right? So a couple ways to do that. You want to make sure that your stuff is front and center at the top. So you can go to your post, click on those three dots and say move to top, right? That's going to move your post all the way back up to the top and you're set to go there. Even better though, I can come in, click on those three dots and say, you know what, let's delete this post because I don't want it there. I want Hayden to be responding back to where he needs to be. I can also mute Hayden from this point as well. All right, so I'm just going to click delete and away that post goes with the comments as well. See you later, post. All right, real quick, let's go through classwork, and then I think that'll be, we'll kind of cut it at classwork, and I'll have you guys make your own, right? Classwork, this is the bread and butter of Google Classroom, the meat and potatoes. I guess, can it be bread and butter and meat and potatoes? Can you explain why sometimes there's a request access prompt? Can you expand that a little bit?
I guess I'll unmute if that's probably faster than me typing.
Go for it.
Sometimes I'll assign work in the Google Classroom, and I'm assuming it's all going to work out fine. And then I'll get like messages from students requesting access. Then I don't know what to click in order to share that assignment with them.
Yeah.
I've tried to troubleshoot it in YouTube videos, and I don't know what to do.
So in that situation, do you want them to have their own doc of the assignment or just to look at the one that you have?
Most likely it's their own doc of the assignment, so they could just submit it.
Okay, so the best, the best case scenario for that is delete the assignment, because once you click post, that ship has sailed on getting them their own assignment. It'd be great, and which brings to my next point. In the bottom left-hand corner here, there's this little question mark, and it says, report an issue or request feature. Google actually reads these, and they want to make Classroom better, because Google, they don't have teachers that design Classroom. They count on us teachers to kind of help them improve it. So that would be something you could post right there saying, I'd like to be able to add an assignment, add a document to an assignment once it's been created. But what's happened in yours is it sounds like that if you want them to have their own document, it's because when you created the assignment, that's not the option that was chosen. And I'll talk about what I mean by that right now. All right, so great segue. So to create an assignment, you click the big create. There are 5 options to create an assignment and 1 option for a topic. What is a topic? A topic is like a subject. Here's how I organize my classroom topics. All right. All of mine are organized by week. So here's like week 22, week 21, week 20, right? I like to organize my topics by weeks so that I don't have, because if you get too many assignments within a topic, it's going to start hiding those assignments, and you don't want assignments to be hidden. So at the most, I have like 6 or 7 assignments a week right now. So that's why I do it by week. And you'll notice in my naming, I'll say like ELA, preposition practice, math, multiplying one-digit whole numbers, right? Science, module 2. So that's how I organize the subject within the topic. Well, do what feels best for you. But I like to organize my topics by week. So I'm going to click create, and assignment, that's going to be your assignment. Quiz assignment, you can make a quiz within Classroom. It gets kind of funky though when you do that. So you can actually add a quiz from Google Forms directly through the assignment feature as well. You can ask a question to the class, you can post material, or you can reuse post from another class that you have either been a teacher of or been a co-teacher of. So reusing posts, if you do a lot of the same things, kind of year after year, and you're like, oh, I think I have that posted somewhere, you click on reuse posts, and you're able to grab that post from before and make the changes as you need. All right, so let's start a new assignment. So I'm going to say click assignment. We're going to give this a name. We're going to call this Sharks HyperDoc, why not? All right. And it might not be a HyperDoc that I give you. And the instructions are totally optional. All right. So I'm going to say complete the HyperDoc. Whenever I make an assignment, I like to do 2 extra things here. I like to give them an approximate time. I'm going to say, you'll have approximately, you'll need to work on this for approximately 20 minutes. That's how long it'll take you to do it. All right. So if they're working on it for 4 hours, then hey, might need to rein in a little bit. If they're done after a minute, then they probably should spend a little bit more time. The other thing I like to do is leave a note for parents. So parents, your child will be completing 7 slides. I don't get into specifically like on slide 1, they're going to be doing this. On slide 2, they're going to be doing this, because that's going to be within my document that I'm sharing. So I just want to give the parents, here's what you should be looking for a completed assignment. Right? It just kind of helps them, as a parent myself, I always like to know what my kids need to do so they're not doing more than they have to do, right? So that kind of helps out a little bit. Before I get to adding the assignment and answering that question about requesting access, I want to show you these things across the side here. So if you have multiple classrooms, you can actually post to both classrooms at the same time. If you do that, though, you cannot post to individual students. It'll go to the whole class. All right, if you're wanting to differentiate, like say you have a group of high, medium, and low readers, and you only want your high readers to get this assignment, you can do that, right? So I'm going to say this is for TechFest 2021. All students, right? Everyone's selected right now, but I don't want everyone to get this. All right, let's say Hayden doesn't get it, and Myra, sorry, you're not getting this assignment either. All right, sorry, Myra.
It's okay.
You can change that there, so it only goes to those 7 specific students. Right here, the points, can make however many points you want. I always make everything out of 10, or you can leave it ungraded. The choice is yours. All right, I always make everything out of 10. Next is your due date. You just pick your date. Google will automatically, once you kind of get going, it'll kind of start to understand when you're posting things. So it's, if I'm posting something tomorrow, they're going to know, all right, he usually wants to do the next day. So it's going to give you that, that option. And then you can give a time as well. If they turn it in late, they still have access to it. This is just the date you want it in. Just because it's late doesn't mean they still can't turn it in. Right? Last but not least, the topic. I have no topics right now. We're going to call this week 1, February 1 to February 5. Right? So these are kind of like the settings of the assignment. The real power is right here in the add button. I'm going to add an assignment from my Google Drive. All right, so I'm going to go just into one of my assignments here really quick. These are your recent ones. You can upload. You can go to my Drive, your start, anything like that. You just kind of got to navigate. I need to find one of mine. Hold on. There we go. And I'm going to give you guys. Let me give you place value practice. I'm going to insert place value practice in here. So this will answer that question right now. Students might not have been able to access that file because of this setting right here. Right now it says students can view file, students can edit file, make a copy for each student. By default, it's set as students can view file. If you want them all to have their own copy, which makes the most sense for Google Classroom, you're going to click make a copy for each student. When you do that, it's going to actually take your document and it's going to make a copy, and it's like you're passing them out in class, right? Couple options in the upper right hand corner. You can either assign it right away and it's going to post right then. You can schedule this, right? So again, Google's getting used to me, right? It knows that it's a weekend. School's not back until Monday. February 1st is a Monday. It only will give me Monday through Friday automatically when I start. It's like, okay, well, I haven't posted anything, so it's going to give me 8 a.m. The next post I do, if it's like 10:15, Google's going to say, okay, he likes to post for 10:15. It's going to change the time to 10:15. You just click on it and change it to whatever time you want, right? You can pick whatever date, whatever time. So if you're like me, like to get assignments out early so they post when you're ready, or You want to teach the lesson and not give them the work until they're done. That's how you would do it there. All right, but I'm going to click assign right here. And now those 7 students, except for Hayden and Myra, are getting that assignment. Away it goes. All right, so here is my classwork. If I go back to the stream, it tells me right here that this assignment's been posted. That's because I didn't change that setting for classwork. I left it the way it was. So in classwork, I want to go take a look and grade this. I'm going to come into classwork, click on Sharks HyperDoc, go to view assignment. As I look at it, I see all of your assignments here, and I can click into one of them. All right, if I want to see what Alice is doing, I can click on there, and now here is Alice's work. Right, I can go through, say, all right, not too bad, Alice, I like it. Doing well. Alice, you're gonna get, once this finishes uploading, Alice, you're gonna get 10 points, all right? And it automatically saves that. And you notice up here, it's given Alice 10 out of 10. It says draft. I'll explain the draft in a second. All right, I can either click here and pick the next person, or I can use these arrows to switch between students. All right, and let's say that let's pick who else here? Pick on. Oh, you know what? The other people haven't clicked the assignment yet. That's why it's not doing it. All right, so for this one, maybe they've clicked into it, but they haven't finished it. I can just type incomplete and then post. And that message is going to be given to that specific student. All right. All righty. Let's go back to our classroom here. Again, 45 minutes, guys, not a lot of time. But that is kind of the gist of Google Classroom. What I want you to do with the next 3 minutes that we have, a couple things. Number one, if you want to get in, yes, that's a great, Patricia, thank you. If you post it, you can't go in and change that back. You can't add an assignment back in. But if you save it, if you save the post, you can go in and add a document to it. Take a few minutes right now. Make a classroom. So I'm here while you're doing it. Ask the questions, and then we'll go. We'll get heading out. Can we assign something to 2 cohorts? Yes, Catherine, you can. Within that, let me show you this real quick. Whoops.
But if you're scheduling, you can't.
Correct. If you're scheduling, you can. If I were to create an assignment that I want to go to both my cohorts, right there and right there, we'll call this assignment. When I come over here, I can only save it or assign it. I cannot schedule it, and I cannot give it to specific students, which is a real bummer. It's a real bummer because if you are wanting to post to multiple classes and don't want to have to do it like the day of, then that's kind of, you're kind of out of luck in that case.
Well, except the workaround is you can always make a copy in that other class and schedule it that way.
Yeah, let me show you that real quick. Oh, where'd it go? Share my screen. We're running low on time.
You got 1 minute.
I can do it.
Okay.
The other thing you can do is click create and then reuse post. All right, and then assign that class it was in. Oh, that's what I want. I'm gonna create new copies of all attachments, or I don't have to. Reuse, and boom. Now it has all the same information, and you can make the changes here. Oh, okay. If you want to stick around for 57 seconds, I can answer anything else.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, let me throw my email address in the chat real quick. If you have any questions for me, feel free to reach out, and I will not answer them. Enjoy ahead.
And
So
I
good.
put in the link to the evaluation in case you still need it.
And we still have 27 seconds, guys.
Yay.
What else?